I'm Cosmas Pitia Kujjo, a geophysicist by profession, and now I'm a geoscientist because after geophysics I studied other professions, and I became a satellite remote sensing analyst, and then later on I did something called geodynamics, and that is why I call myself a geoscientist now, not a geophysicist anymore. Originally I'm from here, from Juba, at Labara. I studied Bullock primary, went to Bullock Intermediate, and then to Loka Secondary School, and then I went and did my first degree at Cairo University. After that I came to Sudan and I started working at Geological Research Authority of Sudan. Did another master's at the University of Khartoum. And then after that, I worked for over 15 years at the Geological Research Authority of Sudan. After that, like other colleagues, we decided to leave the country, and I went to the US. And there again, I went and did another master's in remote sensing, satellite remote sensing. And then a PhD later on in geophysics, and I started teaching there. First, I was as a TA at Bowling Green State University, and then again at Kentucky University. 2013, after we became independent, I was called by my colleagues, those of Mohamed Lino and Arcangelo Kwang, in addition to the minister by then, who was also our colleague, Stephen Dew. And I came back and I became the Director General for Geological Survey. A few months I became the Director General for Petroleum, and then I was managing the petroleum. The crisis happened and I was still managing the petroleum during the crisis until the ministry got divided into Ministry of Petroleum and Ministry of Mining. Then I became a Director General at the Directorate of Mineral Development. From there, I stayed there for some time, and then later on became a Director General for Planning, Training, and Research. And then lately, the degree came out, and I'm now the Undersecretary for the Ministry of Mining. The ministry is a new ministry, and we started with a structure that has only two directorates. The Director of Geological Survey, and then Mineral Development. Then later on, because it is now a ministry, then they added the Planning, Training, and Research. And then in addition to finance, admin and finance. So being a new ministry, still the structure is not complete, and this is one of the things that we need to consider. And so we need to make a proper structure for the ministry, and this is what the Honorable Minister is also suggesting and is approving it very much. After the structure, we need to look into the licenses. We've been licensing to companies, mining companies that are supposed to start with exploration, and then later on, after exploration, then they can go for mining. Unfortunately, some of these companies did not work or did not start any exploration work, and then the majority of them started, but they did not complete the work, which is supposed to be in 5 years. Others decided to go direct to mining. They found the natives doing artisanal mining, and they started doing the artisanal mining also with the natives, which is supposed to be the work of the natives, not for any company to do that. Yeah. So we are trying to revise all that so that we put them in the right track. There for exploration, then let them do the work systematic, do the exploration first, and then later on, when they find potential minerals, then they can go for mining. The role of these companies also in regard to sustainable development of the area. Some of them are not caring about the community there, and this is one of the things that they're supposed to take the corporate responsibility, are not doing that. So we are trying to revise our licensing system, and then we want also to evaluate the work of those companies, and then from there we can carry on. First of all, we need cooperation, because I by myself cannot do everything. So we need cooperation among ourselves here first in the ministry, and this is what is happening now with the Honorable Minister, and then my colleagues, the Director Generals, and then the companies themselves. And then in addition to the hosting communities, whether the natives or the government. We have started doing this. We have written to the authorities, telling them that we will be coming there, or we're sending our people to go and revise the work of the companies. We already had some complaints from the natives in Capoeira area, for example, that the companies are digging holes, and this is environmentally unfriendly to the people, causing a lot of problems to them. And so we want our inspectorate here to go there and then inspect the area and see exactly what is happening. Why are those people doing mining instead of exploration? The other thing is a revision of our policies. The policy, the act, the mining act, the mining policies, the regulations. We need to revise them, because some of them are not even coping with the needs now. We have started this by ourselves, and we are also finding some cooperation from the UN, UNESCO, the African Development Bank, and others. So we'll try to work on that, because if you don't have good laws, then you cannot operate. So these are some of the challenges that we are facing, in addition to what is on the ground. And the security issues is also another thing that we put into consideration. Thank God that most of our country is now becoming peaceful, and that will help us to operate, or the industry to start in a good manner that will take us ahead. First of all, let us believe that not only depending on oil is a solution. We need to diversify our economy, as people believe in that. And if you look at most of our African countries, they are depending on mining. God has bestowed us with the wealth, mineral wealth, and that mineral wealth, we need to use it. If you look at our country, even before the discovery of oil, Sudan was depending on agriculture, and that was cotton. Cotton was our cash crop, and it was almost satisfactory to everybody. Now we added oil, and the problems becomes more. We want to solve that. We want to come out with another solution to that, and that will be mining, because it's sustainable. Mining will help us to achieve our goals. It will lead us to prosperity and unexpected everything. Let me put it in this way. People are expecting a lot from mining, because we are looking at our countries, neighboring countries. If you look at Congo, there's a lot of mining going on there, and they are now supplying almost the whole world with the necessary ingredients of the technology, and we are neighbors to them. Geologically, we have the same type of rocks, and as such, we expect also to find the same minerals. Since you have the same rock, you can have the same minerals. We are cooperating. We started cooperating now with South Africa, the Council of Geoscience. They were here. Their minister was here. We had some agreements with them, and we will try to benefit from their experience. We visited Tanzania. We had also the experience of the Tanzanians, and Sudan. Sudan was unclassified in the gold. Now they're number 3. Sometimes they become number 2, number 3, so like that, occupying the same position with Ghana. South Africa is always the first. Ghana comes the second. Sudan comes the third. Sometimes Sudan comes the second. Ghana goes the third. So like that. And all of us, we worked in Sudan. I have my own discoveries in Sudan. And when our people visited Sudan, I think I did not go with them, but it was mentioned to them that you have somebody who discovered all this here, not me alone, together with Dr. Andu, who was already the director for mineral development. So the same expertise, we can bring it here, and then we can discover a lot, which are already there. On my side, I tried several times. Whenever I'm traveling to the US, I take with me some samples, rock samples, and we analyze them there. They have good laboratories. We analyze them there, and then they've been giving us very nice results, which are encouraging, and that is telling us also that there is a future for this country. So these rocks are not bad rocks. They have something in them. When you are moving around here and you're looking down, you can see them how shiny they are. When we studied the oil here in Sudan by then, there used to be smaller companies that came, and they were exploring for oil in the Red Sea, because people were thinking that oil in Saudi Arabia, we can find oil in the Red Sea. Yeah. But there was no discoveries. Why? Because the oil companies were not that huge oil companies that can use the technology. Now the same thing with us. The mining companies that came here, there is no any company that is internationally known. You might have not heard of anything. We used to have a company called New Kush that came from South Africa, and it did its best in the area of Capoeira. They did some airborne work, and they were able to locate some targets, and they're supposed to start drilling. Unfortunately, the crisis happened in 2013, and they became a little bit scared, and so they did not continue estimation, because they are at the stage of estimating the reserves that are there. The other areas have been given to some companies that are very small companies. Some of them are even not real companies. Let me give you an example. If you are allocating plots, and you give plots, we have this here. A lot of people are getting plots, but not all of them are building. Some of them are building. Those who are capable, they are building, and they're doing, you can see very nice houses. And then the others are left as plots. So the same thing with our companies. The companies came, at the beginning they were optimistic, and they made us so optimistic, also giving them the concessions. But at the end, some of them did not start, and they look, to me, I think they were brokers or so, trying to get the concession or the license, and then later on they go and sell. Like it happened once around Gorom here. So these companies are not really genuine companies or credible companies. That's why up to now there's nothing. The ministry has decided to revoke their licenses. Any company that is not doing enough, the license has been revoked, and we are now trying to allocate it to new companies that are genuine. Now we have companies from Australia that came, and their profile is really good, or let me say excellent, and we will try to give our licenses to these companies. So that is the only way that we can start doing the right work. Everybody wants to grow. and nobody wants to stay where they are. So if you ask a child that, where do you want to be after 5 years, they will tell you, I want to become a doctor or an engineer or so. Yeah. So the same thing with us. We want to become number one in the mining sector. Although this is a big, it needs a big leap, and that, but we'll do it. First of all, we are neighboring Congo, and Congo is now a focus of all the minerals that are being used in the technology, the green technology. People are now talking about the green technology of batteries and all that. And I'm sure, when I say I'm sure, because I've already taken some samples for analysis, and we got good results in those samples. I'm sure if we continue doing the right work, systematic work of exploring for those minerals, we will be known soon. I don't want to say where in the ranking, but sometimes people, even if you're not ranked, like our basketball team, it was not ranked, but all of a sudden we saw ourselves somewhere. I'm optimistic. I'm so optimistic that soon people will hear about us. So the same people that did the work in Sudan, we are now here in South Sudan, we will do the work for South Sudan. And I'm proud that I spent more than 15 years working in Sudan, which is now the northern part of Sudan, and discovering a lot of minerals there. I'm proud that also, not only minerals, but we did a lot of work, infrastructure. I was part of the Merawi Dam. I was part of I was the crew chief who did the refinery. And we are lacking refineries here. So we will be doing a lot in all the infrastructure, whether constructing dams or working, doing mining. As I told you before that, I'm a geoscientist. I'm no longer a geophysicist, I'm a geoscientist. So as a person, as an individual, I'm ready to give as much as I can. And as a ministry, soon you will see some company vehicles moving around here, and soon also you will be hearing that we are transporting our minerals. Be optimistic. Be ready, don't panic, everything will be all right.